This is part 2 of Shut 'Em Down Records Unreleased albums. In part 1, we took a look at 5 unreleased albums. 1. Diamonds Are Forever by Anissa. 2. $1 Million Mexicans by Happy P and Falero. 3. In Ground Park by Lil Villain, Bing and Eichmann. 4. Going Hard by Lil Loco and Big C. 5. Pound for Pound by Lil Villain and Bing. The first album is Rookie of the Year by Nutzo. You can hear his flow and sound on Falero and X-Ray's Bring It to the Table and the Texted Cali Volume 1 Heatwave. If I remember correctly, he's not featured on From the Ghetto Volume 1 or Volume 2. I was able to find his MySpace, Nutzo713. The heading says Free Nutzo. Maybe one of the reasons for him not being featured on some of the Shut 'Em Down projects was because maybe at the time he was dealing with things. Aside from being a solo artist, he was also part of the 713 Stunners. If anyone knows what Nutzo's up to, type it in the comments. The second album is Rookie of the Year by Lil Phat. Lil Phat and Nutzo had the same dope cover. For those of you who aren't aware, Nutzo was on the label first, and then Lil Phat came a couple years later. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Lil Phat's introduction to the game was on From the Ghetto Volume 2. The first song I heard him on was Shake Your Cookies with Big Flake and Baby Bash. I remember being at a car show and stopping by the Shut 'Em Down Records booth, and on the TVs, on the monitors, they were playing the music video for Shake Your Cookies. Lil Phat is still doing music. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's Lil Phatso. He released a new album this year, 2020, called As a Youngster, and he's also featured on the Shut 'Em Down album by Sin. The third album is El-Jefe by D-Rey. I didn't hear his music until the label started to transition from Shut 'Em Down Records to D Entertainment. If I had to compare his style, I would say it was similar to Chalk Steely, Ice, and Juan Gotti when they rapped in Spanish. For the most part, if you think about it, every Latin or Mexican label that was around during that time had a Spanish artist. Does anyone know more about D-Rey or what he's up to? If you do, leave it in the comments. The fourth album is Crunch Time by Smash Boys, which included Sin, Rebel, and Big Flake. This was going to be another dope album. On the corner was a song by the Smash Boys. It was featured on From the Ghetto Volume 1. The music video is on YouTube. It was uploaded by a channel named Sway Rosales. If you haven't watched the video, make sure you check it out. Baby Bash and Grim make appearances in the video. Sin and Rebel are still doing music. I don't know what happened to Big Flake. He had a promotional release titled Off the Dome that was all freestyles back in 2001, 2002. If anyone has an extra copy of it, let me know, because I've never heard it.
Every day we roll over haters. Everybody in third coast getting paid.
The last one is T2 and Lil Phat, and this would have been a short stop in a Shut 'Em Down Records album. If you remember, T2 had a song called I Got That. It was a hit that was being played all over Houston. Lil Phat and T2 made a song called Throw Young Soldiers, which was featured on the From the Ghetto Volume 2. At the time, ESG and Slim Thug had a song called Get Your Hands Up. Lil Phat and T2 did their own spin on it. Check it out, man. It's called Throw Young Soldiers. This album would have helped both of their careers. Like I mentioned before, Lil Phat is still making music. I'm not sure if T2 is or what he's up to. Shut 'Em Down Records was bound to have a dope catalog. The catalog would have been big, like Dope House Records. This concludes Shut 'Em Down Records Unreleased Albums Part 2. Let me know if you have any more information on Shut 'Em Down Records, the artists, or these albums. One last thing. Keep it player. Don't be a hater.